Okay, so what I want to talk about is point slope form of a line. There's actually four versions of an equation for a line. You guys know y equals mx plus b. You've heard of that one. And you know that y equals mx plus b. That's called slope intercept form. This one's called slope intercept because it gives you the slope and it gives you the y-intercept. Then there is this one, which is ax plus by equals c. This is called standard form. Okay, this is standard form. And we're going to talk about both of these forms later on in this chapter. But the one I wanted to start off with is called point slope form. And that's right here where it says the point slope form of an equation looks like this: y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. A couple things. The x1 and the y1 is a point on the graph, and the m is the slope. The m is the slope, and that other y and the other x is just a part of the equation that has to be to make things work out perfectly. So with this, how do we use this? What are the things that we have to talk about? Okay, um, well, let's look. So this thing right says the line passes through the point negative 3 comma 6 and has a slope of negative 5. What is an equation of the line? This is what's awesome about this. If you have point slope, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Well, there it gave us the negative 3 and the 6. There's your x1, there's your y1, and your m is the negative 5. So plug these things in. So y minus 6 equals negative 5 times x minus a minus 3. You can write this out as y minus 6 equals negative 5 times x plus 3. Now I know it's uncomfortable to leave it like that, but you totally 100% can if you want. Totally fine. Or you want to go one step bigger, you could actually distribute that negative 5. So now you get negative 5x minus 15, and then you add 6, and you add 6, and you got y equals negative 5x minus 9. There's your y equals mx plus b. This one is good. It is an equation of a line. Totally easy. This one is a little bit better, but not needed for this particular stuff. So you have a got it. Why don't you pause the video, go ahead and do the got it, and I'll see you back here in a second. All right. What is the graph of the equation y minus 1 equals 2/3 x minus 2? Well, that's pretty neat because if you think about it, the slope of this line is 2/3, and it has a point x1 comma y1, so that'd be 2 comma 1. So what I can do is I can graph this. I can draw an x and a y axis. I can go to 2, 1, 2, and up 1 and put a dot. And from there I can go rise 2, run 3, put a dot. Rise 2, run 3, put a dot. And there is my line. And I knew that because the slope is positive. Pretty easy. You got it. Why don't you pause the video, and I'll see you back here in a minute. Problem number 3. What is the equation of the line at the right? So using with this, I know the only equation I know is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I need a point and I need a slope. Well, to get a slope, you have to have 2 points. Remember that y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I have one. Here's my x1, here's my y1, here's my x2, here's my y2. Now when I'm going through this, I can see that the line goes up, so I am going to in fact have a positive slope. So let's plug that in. Y2 is negative 3 minus 4 over negative 2 minus 1, and that equals negative 7 over negative 3, which equals positive 7/3. So there's my slope. So now I can take my slope in any one of these points. I'm going to take the 1 comma 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do y minus 4 equals 7/3 times x minus 1. And there's my equation. I could keep moving that. I could distribute the 7/3 and get it in slope intercept form, but I'm not going to do that because all he wanted us to do is all they want us to do is just to go ahead and write an equation. So you have a got it. Why don't you go ahead and pause the video and try to come up with the equation. I'll see you here in a second. All right, I believe this is the last problem. Problem number 4 says the table shows the altitude of a hot air balloon during its linear descent. That's important. Linear means I'm going to have an equation. What equation in slope-intercept form gives the balloon's altitude at any time? What do the slope and the y-intercept represent? When they say slope-intercept, that's y equals mx plus b. But what I have to use is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I guess what I'm telling you is pick a spot. I don't know. Pick this guy right here. This is my x, and this is my y. So I'm gonna pick that point. So if I'm gonna pick that point, and then I'm gonna pick another point. Let's pick this one and that one. So let's find the slope. The slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So with that, let's see. Y2 is gonna be 590 minus 640 over 30 minus 10. So 590 minus 640, that's a negative, is that going to be a negative? All right, so that comes out to be negative 50 over 20. And then, so I'm going to change that to, yeah, okay, so that's negative 2 point. So that's actually y, and I'm going to pick a point. How about y minus 640 equals negative 5 over 2 times x minus 10. All right, if I keep doing this, actually I'm going to polish this up. Since this is a real life example, I'm going to change that negative 5 over 2 to negative 2.5, which represents I'm losing, that's my slope. That negative 2.5 means I'm losing 2.5 meters per second. Now if I distribute that negative 2.5 through, I get negative 2.5x plus 25. And then I add 640, I get y equals negative 2.5x plus, and that's 640 there, 685. There's my y equals mx plus b. So the slope, this is my slope. This represents a loss of 2.5 meters per second. And that 685 means I'm 685 meters above when I first start before I go down into my descent. Okay? So, point slope form. Do you know that? That's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 equation. That is the equation for the line in the graph. Do you know all those? Rate yourself on how you are. I think I'm about a 10. And I look forward to seeing you in class real soon. And may the force be with you.